What's up, everybody? Welcome to That Wannabe Film Class, the show where we love movies. So each month we choose a theme and our members bring one movie that fits the theme for us to talk about. Maybe it's a movie they love. Maybe it's a movie they've been dying to see. Maybe it's a movie they just find interesting. I am Ben Bellevue, and I am joined by the villain vixen, the super villain seducer, the asshole apologist, the damsel who may or may not be in distress, but it's okay because she's handling it barely, frankly, from my experience with her, Chloe Naylor.
Hey, still love it. It gets longer and longer every time.
It does, yeah.
Good.
I haven't decided like how many times I'm going to expand it because I'm like, I can't do it every week because that'd be too much. So do I do it every month? Do I do it on a whim whenever I'm feeling it? I don't know. Where will it end? All of us. Do I get one for every letter of the alphabet? Does this end with like 26 titles?
I wouldn't
That's
complain.
my hope. That's my hope.
Yes, me too. I want that.
Chloe, our intro doesn't really tell the truth anymore.
Okay.
Because it says we pick one movie.
Mm-hmm.
But at least for this month, that's not the case.
No.
This month, we've been talking about our favorite movies, and each of us has been choosing two.
Mm-hmm.
You, of course, have already talked about two of yours. We've talked about Lekino, Transformers.
Yep.
Dark of the Moon.
Of course.
The peak of cinema.
Yes, truly is.
The movie that defined a generation. The movie that Martin Scorsese openly wept at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like he has two tiers. He has the superhero movie, the roller coaster, as he describes it, the theme park ride. And then he has Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Yeah, it's wild how much he loves it.
Yeah, and you are that visionary right alongside him who loves it equally.
Exactly.
And then, of course, you also talked about Prisoners. That was our last episode. I have talked about my second favorite movie of all time, the recent I almost said Lady Bird. The recent Little Women. They both start with L, man. The recent Little Women from Greta Gerwig, who also directed Lady Bird. So I'm going to defend my confusion there under these terms. But now we're here to talk about my favorite movie of all time. The best movie ever made. The best piece of storytelling and cinema ever put to film that might not be entirely accurate. They probably shot on digital cameras. I don't know. I feel like it was digital cameras.
Possibly.
The point is, we're here to talk about Sing Street.
Hey.
A movie I love so much. I love
so glad.
So much. So, obviously, I love it a lot. I've seen it many times. There was a point in my life where I watched this movie on a near monthly basis.
Nice.
Just like every month, for whatever reason, I was introducing it to someone or I was just in the mood for it. But I think for like 9 months straight, I was watching it once a month.
Nice.
Yeah, I am very attached to it. Every time I watched it, my affinity for it grew. I mentioned this on the last podcast, but it was definitely one of those movies that grew on me the more I watched it. So I'm very curious to hear what you think about it, which of course brings us to Chloe. What was your impression of Sing Street before watching it?
So
obviously I've talked about it. Did you know anything before I brought it up? Had you heard of it?
I think you're the first person that has ever brought it up. I've never heard of it before, but like just based on the title and I think like a single screenshot I saw, I think when you did like your top movies of the decade or something like that, I thought it was like more modern, way more like Broadway-esque kind of music. And also I thought it took place in New York. That was my impression of it in my mind.
So you're fully wrong.
Yes.
On every level.
Every single level.
So did you think Sing Street meant like Broadway? They were like, oh, this is Sing Street, the street of music.
They sing. And I was like, oh, they probably sing. They're probably on a street. So like I hear sing and street. I'm like, oh, okay, New York probably.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So like your brain went West Side Story with it, basically?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. That's not this movie at all.
No, it is not.
No, it is not. At what point do you think you fully realized that everything you thought was wrong? Because obviously it's set in Ireland. Yeah. It's set in the 80s. That's introduced pretty quickly.
Yeah. About
when did you realize like
I think
sorry, continue.
At the first like family like dinner, and they all started talking. I'm like, okay, I see. Yeah. This is what we're doing.
When did you realize that it's not a musical the way you were thinking of it?
When they didn't sing within like the first 5 minutes. Like break out into song, walk into school, you know?
So I guess this jumps me to a question I was going to ask. Well, that's not true. Not necessarily. I don't know when I was going to ask this question. But before we dive into like all the cast information, the crew information, what happens in the movie, how do you feel about what it actually was? Do you like that it was more of a grounded musical?
Yes, I liked it a lot. All the music too slaps.
Oh, it slaps.
It's really
it's
good.
so good.
I was really happy.
It's so fucking good.
Is it on Spotify? Because I'm going to listen to it more.
It is on Spotify, yes. I was listening to it for preparation for the past hour before I start recording this.
Nice.
I was also listening to it for like an hour after watching it today because, again, I love it with every fiber of my being.
Valid.
There's also a vinyl record that I have an eternal quest to find.
Ooh.
I made a stupid rule for myself.
Okay.
Because this movie is not like super popular. It's not super well known. So its soundtrack is not super easy to find.
Okay.
Now that it's been out for a while, like I think if I was looking for it when the movie first came out, it would have been no big deal, but I wasn't. So I've decided I won't buy it online.
Okay.
Which makes my life infinitely harder.
Yeah.
So like anytime I'm in a record store, the first thing I do is go to the soundtrack section and look to see if they have Sing Street, and they never do.
Okay.
They may never have it. It's a long march towards me just giving up and buying it off Amazon, but I haven't yet.
Yet. Ah, that does make sense why we always go to record stores when we hang out.
Yeah. No, that's legitimately why. That is actually why. Any record store I pass by, I'm like, I have to check.
You know what? I love it. I respect it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned that you thought it was more of a Broadway musical. It is coming to Broadway.
Oh, interesting.
Technically, it should be there right now. But coronavirus happened.
Right.
Its premiere, its Broadway premiere, I think, was supposed to be like the beginning of May.
Oh.
Maybe the end of April. It was definitely within the past month. Yeah, like it was supposed to happen. And now we're here. That sucks. And now we're here. Chloe, though, before we dive into this movie and you tell us what happened and I pause you at every 5 seconds to talk about how much I love everything about this movie with every fiber of my being, let's talk about the crew behind this. This movie is written and directed by John Carney. He was originally a musician. He was a bassist for The Frames for 2 years in the 90s and also directed some of their music videos, which is, it sounds like where he kind of got started with directing. I don't know if he did things as a kid before that. I don't care. His first feature was November Afternoon. It was a limited release, but Irish Times named it one of their movies of the year. Actually, they might have named it their movie of the year. They did name it movie of the year. Good for November Afternoon. He proceeded to then make a movie called Park and another movie called On the Edge, which was his first decently big release. It wasn't like super successful, but it got, a wide release. It was picked up by Universal, I believe. And then he co-wrote and co-directed a successful Irish TV series called Bachelor's Walk, which might be one of the most successful Irish produced television shows in Ireland. I don't know.
Okay.
It said it was really successful, but I couldn't entirely figure out like what metric it was saying. Like, was it saying the most successful on this channel, the most successful, like kind of independently produced Irish show, just the most successful show out of Ireland? I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
He gained prominence, though, with Once, which is a very low budget musical drama. It was made for $160,000.
Wow.
Which is no money whatsoever.
Exactly.
But it grossed $7 million in 3 months.
Damn. Nice, dude.
It has also been converted into a Broadway production. I believe Zachary Levi was on it for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was him. There's 2 musicals that have similar names. And I'm almost positive Zachary Levi was on this one. Cannot remember.
Okay.
Maybe it was Arthur Darvill. Might have been Arthur Darvill, i.e. Rory from Doctor Who.
Ah, okay.
Because Arthur Darvill was on one and Zachary Levi was on another. And I remember them having similar names. I don't remember which is which. I think it was Arthur Darvill. Cannot be positive. That makes sense because it is an Irish play or musical movie. You know what I mean? It is Irish. And Zachary Levi's American. Whatever. We move on.
Okay.
Spielberg once said about Once that it gave him enough inspiration to last the rest of the year.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
You say, wow. John Carney's response when he was told about this was, at the end of the day, he's just a man with a beard.
I mean, he's not wrong.
It should be noted that John Carney also had a beard at the time. He also won, or the movie once also won an Academy Award for Best Original Song. Off. Once the success, Carney got a movie that he'd shot before once called Zonad, released finally because it had been like in a limbo for up until then.
Mm-hmm.
Then he made what many think of as his like true successor to Once, because it's another musical called Begin Again. It's his only, I would argue, like major studio release. It stars Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, so it's very recognizable actors. Adam Levine is in it, and he got some flack for that movie because it didn't do as well. And when he was talking about why, he kind of disparaged Keira Knightley's acting ability and said she was like a model and not really an actress. And a lot of people got really mad at him for that. And he has since come out and he was like it. And he's since come out and he apologized and said it was like arrogant and disrespectful to blame someone else when you're trying to like poke holes in your own work. Mm-hmm. And that the way he said it sounds pretty genuine, just like the way he expressed it. But also, he's a writer.
Yeah.
Writers are good with words.
Right.
But like everything, most things about him, most people seem to like him. So I think, I don't know. But he did get some flack for that one.
Okay.
Then after Begin Again, he made Sing Street, which again is the best movie ever made. Since Sing Street, he's also executive produced Modern Love on Amazon, a 8-part series, I believe. It's 8 parts. It's definitely a series. He's also a writer-director for some of the episodes. The music for this movie is written by Gary Clark, except for one song at the end when they're on the boat. There's a song that plays called Go Now. Now, Gary Clark is partly involved in writing this song. Do you know who also helped write it / sang it?
I saw it in the credits. It's Adam Levine.
It's Adam Levine. Probably the biggest name in this movie is Adam Levine singing a song randomly at the end.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, this is Maroon 5? And I'm like, yeah, it's Adam Levine. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that, though. No. The cast includes Ferdio Walsh-Pilo as Connor / Cosmo. This was his film acting debut.
Oh, good for him.
Up until now, he had only done opera stage performances that toured Ireland.
Nice.
Yeah. He's also now in the TV show Vikings. We have Lucy Boynton as Rafina. She's also now on Murder on the Orient Express, the 2017 version of it. And she was on Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie, not the album. That would make no sense.
Oh, okay.
She then went on to be in The Politician, the Ryan Murphy show on Netflix. Have not watched it, but she's in it apparently.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. She's also dating Rami Malek after meeting him on Bohemian Rhapsody.
Good for her. All right. Love that.
It was alarming because when I Googled her, it said Rami Malek's spouse. And then I went to her Wikipedia, and Wikipedia does not say they're married. But Google said they're married. And for a second, I was like, holy shit.
Oh, okay.
How did I not know this?
Because I've definitely looked her up before, looking at, like, who's Rami Malek dating? And now it's her. Whoa. Okay, now I know. That
was her.
Okay.
It's hard to tell because she has, like, blonde hair usually, or at least now she does. And from the photos I've seen of her recently, it's also short blonde hair.
Yeah.
So if you look and you're like, oh, yeah, this is the same person. But I definitely, I haven't seen The Politician.
Okay.
Nor have I seen Bohemian Rhapsody. Nor have I seen what other movie or the new Murder on the Orient Express. However, I feel like if I saw her with that short blonde haircut, my brain would not have immediately made the connection of like, oh, that's Rafina.
Right.
I might have known, oh, I've seen this girl before, but I wouldn't have known where.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, that's her.
Okay.
The more you know. We have the man you probably know best. That's not true. There's 2 men you probably know best. But one of the men you probably know best, Jack Rayner.
Shout out.
As Brendan.
Shout out.
Best known probably for Transformers Age of Extinction, where he plays the driver.
His name is
I don't remember the
Shane.
character's name, but
he drives, Dad.
Thank you. I don't remember his name, but I distinctly remember the rest of that line.
It's so stupid.
Because it's so stupid.
So stupid.
She's like, isn't the question Mark Wahlberg asks, who is this?
His name is Shane and he drives. Like, okay.
That's exactly what Mark Wahlberg wanted to know.
Right, exactly. And homie keeps a laminated Romeo and Juliet law in his wallet.
I know, it's so creepy. It's so creepy. But this is not that man.
No, it's not.
This is not that man. Here, he plays his best performance, in my opinion. Brendan. He's also been in Detroit. Have not seen him in that. He's been in On the Basis of Sex, which I believe is the Ruth Bader Ginsburg movie. Mm-hmm. Not the documentary, but like the fictionalized, biopic. And most notably, besides Transformers and this, he has been in Midsommar, where he plays Florence Pugh's shitty boyfriend.
Yeah.
Which I feel like for a lot of people, Jack Rayner's trajectory is like Transformers and then Midsommar. They're like, oh, he's the Transformers guy. And oh, look at him in Midsommar. He's like pulling back. And I'm like, no, that's the Sing Street guy. Transformers is a before time and Midsommar is not comparable.
True. Oh, God, yeah. Transformers came out before Sing Street. Mm-hmm. That's weird. Okay.
It did. Huh. Yeah. That was the before time.
Rack. All right, good for him.
We then have the other most recognizable face in this, Aidan Gillen, as Robert, their father. Of course, Aidan Gillen, best known as Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. He is also Tommy Carcetti in The Wire. I don't know how significant of a character that is because I have not watched The Wire, but The Wire is a big show.
Yeah.
He is also Aberama Gold in Peaky Blinders, another show I have not seen. And he's John Reed in Bohemian Rhapsody. Fun fact I discovered. Uh-huh. Have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody?
No.
Okay. So in Bohemian Rhapsody, he plays John Reed, who is like the agent for Queen. Mm-hmm. John Reed is not only a character in the Queen biopic. He's also a character in Rocket Man, the Elton John biopic.
Okay.
Because he was also Elton John's manager. Mm. He was also Elton John's like secret boyfriend for a long time. He may or may not have been emotionally abusive to Elton John. Rocket Man sure argues that he was. Don't know how accurate that is. Don't want to speculate.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Uh-huh. In Bohemian Rhapsody, which bear in mind happens around exactly the same time as Rocket Man, give or take like 5 years earlier for Rocket Man. Mm-hmm. But in Bohemian Rhapsody, he's played by Littlefinger.
Right.
In Rocket Man, he's played by Rob Stark.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we will get the Game of Thrones men to play the same man. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
But also like very different ages.
Yeah.
And very different like levels of attractiveness.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that like Aidan Gillen isn't a good looking dude. He is. Mm-hmm. But Aidan Gillen's like a normal good looking dude. Rob Stark is this like muscly, chiseled.
Yeah.
Also just younger.
Yeah.
Also they make Aidan Gillen's haircut kind of look stupid in Bohemian Rhapsody. I've only seen a little bit.
Oh no.
But then if they don't groom him to look like attractive.
Okay.
And then you have Rob Stark.
Right.
With like perfectly coiffed hair and like a well-fitted suit in Rocket Man.
Fascinating.
I'm fascinated. I am fascinated.
Wild.
Okay. Next up, we have a deep shame, I have to admit.
Ooh.
A discovery I made.
Okay.
So every time I've pitched Sing Street, I'm like, look, Sing Street, it doesn't really have a lot of actors you'd recognize, but it has a couple. Mm-hmm. We have, the guy from Transformers: Age of Extinction. I know not a huge name, but we have him.
Yeah.
Now I say the guy from Midsommar because people know that, because people like appreciate him in that more.
Right.
We have Littlefinger. That's the biggest name. Mm-hmm. And we have Aunt Petunia from Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah. That is her, huh?
No, it isn't.
No?
I'm fucking wrong. Oh. This entire time I've been saying that.
And it's not?
And that isn't her.
Oh, it sure looks like it.
Thank you. I've just been wrong for years.
Wow, look at you. Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm more ashamed as a Sing Street fan or a Harry Potter fan, but I'm ashamed.
Damn, you hate to see it. Wow, you could have just told me that was her and be like,
We
you know
really
what? Okay.
I know.
I was about to accept that.
But someone would listen to this and call me out on it. So I have to admit it here. The actress, of course, also the actress deserves recognition. The actress is Maria Doyle Kennedy, who plays the mother. She is not Aunt Petunia. She is Siobhan Sadler in Orphan Black. Don't know if you've seen Orphan Black. Great show.
No.
Well, good show. Tatiana Maslany. Do you know what it's about?
Tatiana Maslany plays like 30 different people, right?
Yeah, that's all you really need to know.
Yeah.
That's the best part of it. Her acting is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
She also plays Catherine of Aragon in The Tudors. I have not seen The Tudors, but that's a decently well-known show. I recognize the name.
Huh.
We have Ben Carolyn as Darren. Could not find any other information about him.
Okay.
He has no Wikipedia page. I didn't bother checking IMDb because just like I have other things to research. I don't.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
We have Mark McKenna as Eamon. Sing Street was also his film debut.
Nice.
And he is now on a YouTube series, like one of the high production YouTube series, where like you have to have YouTube Plus or whatever it's called now to watch it, called Wayne. And he has some upcoming projects that look like they could be like, bigger deal movies and things.
Okay.
And finally, we have Dane Wycherley as Brother Baxter, the head of the school. The only thing I recognized him from, because again, like Ireland is a very small kind of insulated place that makes their own stuff that doesn't get out.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing I recognize him from like in terms of what he's been on is a show called Moon Boy. I've only seen like 2 episodes, but Ava loves it a lot. It's this little Irish or British or whatever comedy. I don't know which. I'm sorry, Irish/British friends, but like sometimes your accents sound similar. You have so many accents.
Yeah.
Where does one stop and the other begin? Northern Ireland is literally in Great Britain, and then Southern Ireland is its own place. Come on.
Makes no sense.
Like America, does it make any sense? Though.
I mean, no, but it's also fun to just make fun of Europeans.
That is true. That is very true.
Yes.
That's everybody in this. That's not everybody. There's other people, but that's everyone that I've listed. The major players in this film. Now, Chloe.
Yes.
That means it's time for the moment I've been deeply looking forward to.
Oh boy.
What happens in the best movie ever made?
Okay. I will forgive you if you interrupt me at any point, which is fine.
It'll happen so much. It's
fine. This is one of your favorite movies of all time. I get it. So, we start with the ultimate mood, badly singing and playing guitar to drown out the sound of your parents arguing outside. Love it.
It's also just like, it's such efficient storytelling, which is the thing that I was like getting caught up on all the time watching this movie when I was like trying to pay attention. Because when you're introducing a character and you're deciding what to do, it'd be so easy to be like, oh, we're going to introduce Cosmo by being like, he plays music. That's what you need to know about him. And then they'll get to the parent strife. Or just introducing it on like, the parents are fighting. But in like a 30-second introduction, they tell us, or Connor at that point, I'm going to just keep calling him Cosmo.
Okay.
They tell us that Cosmo is a musician. He knows how to play music. He likes to like make up lyrics, even if they're not necessarily good ones. We know that his parents are fighting a lot, badly. And more importantly, we know how he deals with it, which is kind of like shrugging it off and pretending it's not happening. And that's just like, that's so much development in a 30-second introduction.
Real quick, right there.
So good. It's so good already. Okay.
Love it.
Continue.
So it's family dinner meeting time. And I was like, holy shit, the dad is Littlefinger and the brother is Shane and he drives. Those are literally my notes.
Nice.
Yes.
We love to see it.
Love to see it. So our boy.
And then you didn't recognize anyone else for the rest of the movie.
Absolutely. I'm like, people? Yes.
You're all new people.
Exactly. I don't know any of them. So our boy Connor's being transferred to a different school so the parents can save some money. And oh boy, he's going to Sing Street, except singing with a Y and an E at the end. Roll credits. Yay, it's over.
Yeah.
Funny joke. Yeah.
Insert Leonardo DiCaprio pointing.
Exactly.
Photo.
It's like, oh, that's the thing.
You know the one, yeah.
Yeah. So
I also appreciate that as someone, I didn't grow up Catholic. I don't really understand Catholicism that much. But I went to a Catholic college. and that Catholic college is Jesuit.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I watch this movie and they're like the Jesuits, I'm like, hey. I know these things, words, association.
Yes, the brain cells are firing. So this school is an absolute nightmare filled with teenage boys just goofing off and being teenage boys, you know, how it be. And then the teacher taking swigs from his flask is the ultimate mood, honestly. Like after class, Connor gets offered a smoke by the local bully, but then he threatens him with a slingshot until he does a little jig, and then he asks him to strip, and he's like, no. Gotta draw the line somewhere. That's fun.
Everyone here is the worst. The bully, a dick. The head of the school, the worst.
The worst, because he gets in trouble for not wearing black shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And makes him take his shoes off.
And he's like, dude, I can't afford better shoes. Yeah. And the guy's like, then just take the shoes off and walk around barefoot. And I'm like, you claim to follow Jesus.
Yeah, like, homie. Get to more about him later.
My guy.
Like, oh my God.
It's Ireland in the 1980s. It's a recession.
Bro, I don't know.
They're all poor. You're probably poor.
Dude, some people just thrive on
their dicks.
Little power. Yeah, They have
That's
dicks.
True.
Yeah, so he gets in trouble not wearing black shoes, goes around barefoot, he buys himself a chocolate bar, Mr. Bully comes back and punches him in the face and steals it. Okay, cool. It's like, school's great, you know? Wow.
It's going great.
So, because of this, he meets the only other redhead I've seen so far in this Irish movie, Darren.
Every time I watch this movie, I understand one more word that Darren says.
Well, every time he talks, I'm like, what are you saying?
It's such a thick Irish accent. I'm not kidding. I'm genuinely not kidding. Every time I watch the movie, I'm able to piece together like maybe a sentence more of what he's saying.
Nice. It's like sometimes he's having a conversation. I'm like looking at him like, I know you're trying to speak, but like your words are coming out of your mouth.
This is not English,
I cannot understand you. God, it's funny.
At one point I watched part of this movie with subtitles on, and it captioned him, and I was like, that's what you're saying?
What? You know,
that's beautiful.
Yes. Oh, gosh. So while they're leaving school, they see a pretty girl across the street, and Darren's like, she's not interested in any of the boys at this school, which I get. So Connor's like, well, let's see. She goes and says hi. She says she's a model. Connor tells her he's in a band and asks her to be in a video. And she's like, well, you gotta prove that you can sing and all that. So he sings her like 2 lines from Take On Me, and she's convinced and gives him her number.
Fucking smooth king.
Smooth. Like, all right. If that's that easy, you just sing Take On Me. Okay. So it's like, time to form a band. And this is a fantastic montage. It's really funny. I love that It
really is. I like that Darren just immediately accepts it. He's like, sure, kid I met an hour ago.
Yeah.
Let's form a band.
Easy.
So you can talk to a girl.
Exactly. You know, that's a good friend. So they get their band together. I love that every time they find a new member, like hard cuts to all of them smoking. It's funny. Hilarious.
It's so good.
It's really good.
I also appreciate that, like, the movie takes place in Ireland in the 80s. And, like, they're racist at a point in this movie. Like, not horribly racist, just, like, mildly racist.
Yeah.
And part of me watches that and I'm like, I am uncomfortable with this. But also, and, like, obviously I'm a white guy. I can't speak to, like, how effectively this was done. But I appreciate that they're not hiding from the fact that there's racial problems in 1980s Ireland.
Right.
That they're not trying to act like, oh, we want diversity in our period piece movie, but we don't want to acknowledge the problems of that era. So we're just going to have the token black kid and not even acknowledge the racism that existed in the time.
Yeah.
So for me, even though it makes me uncomfortable, I think it's good. Again, I am not an expert on the matter. I can't speak to it.
No, but there's a funny scene when he's like trying to like slowly talk and he's like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Great.
Or when they meet the mom and they're like, does he live here? And she's like, no, door down. And they're like, okay. And she's like, how many black kids do you think there are in Ireland? In this apartment complex? Like,
Right.
That's what she says. This shitty apartment complex.
Exactly. Oh gosh. Yeah. So, I don't know any of their names, but there's Eamon. I know that he's Mr. Rabbit guy. That's fun.
Yes, Mr. Rabbit guy.
Yeah.
The best member of the band, frankly. Like aside from Cosmo.
Yeah.
The best member of the band.
You're right.
Yeah.
So they record a cover. Connor shows it to his brother Brendan. And I thought it was okay, but Brendan's like, this is garbage. Write your own stuff and find your own style. I'm like, okay, that's valid, I guess.
Yeah. And I feel like the brother's not arguing that it's like a bad performance. I feel like he's just arguing that like, that's what he says is like, every school has a covers band. Every pub has a covers band.
Yeah.
If you're doing this to be an artist or if you're doing this to get a girl, either of those, this isn't that. Mm-hmm. This is the music you make when you just want a little hobby on the side and fucking around with a guitar and your friends. Like,
right.
Take a risk. Rock and roll is a risk, to quote Brendan. I know a lot of this movie.
Really? Well. Did you?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Also, rock and roll is a risk is audio on the soundtrack. There's just a little audio file between songs. That's just Brendan saying rock and roll is a risk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
The more you know.
Yeah. All right.
Also, shout out to Eamon for naming the band because Sing Street's a genius name.
Oh, I know, right?
Like, I can't believe no one else thought of that when you literally go to Sing Street.
Listen, boys are dumb.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, very true. So they do. They start writing their own songs. Connor, with the help of Eamon, writes Riddle of the Model, inspired by a pretty girl across the street, Rafina.
And their relationship is adorable as they write it. I love Cosmo and Eamon's relationship so much. Too.
I like all the scenes they have.
It's so good.
Every time he shows up at his house, he's like, hey, you want to write a song? He's like, duh, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Love it. So they get to shoot like a video. They've got all these costumes. They are like the village people, one of them says. Mm-hmm. Rafina shows up to do the makeup. And then that bully shows up with his dad. And then the dad's like, hey, you should join this band. Bully's like, piss off. And then dad smacks him. He's like, oh, okay, I see why you're a bully. Okay, all right. I feel bad.
Abuse.
Abuse. That's great, isn't it? Yikes. So they shoot the music video. Connor's like, hey, I can give you a ride home. Rafina's like, you have a car? Hard cut to them on a bike. Adorable.
I like that when they're... I don't know why I said I like. I find it interesting that when she comes onto the scene, she's like, I should do your makeup. This light's going to be harsh on camera. I'm like, dude, it's overcast. Like, that's not harsh lighting.
It's harsh to them. It's like the clouds are just a little bit thinner. It's like,
oh, you're right. In Ireland, it's like, unless it's just like completely fogged over.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
It's harsh. You're right.
That was a pretty bright day for them, you know?
Can we talk about their outfits for a moment?
Iconic.
They're absurd.
They are incredibly absurd.
They're so... If anyone's listening to this and they haven't seen this movie, which first of all, what the fuck are you doing? Go watch Sing Street. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't seen this movie, they're out, like, just Google Riddle of the Model Sing Street and see these outfits. One guy's a cowboy. I don't know what Eamon and Cosmo are wearing, but it's something. Also, I love, again, on their relationship now that they put their costumes together.
Love it. I love it.
Adorable.
Yes.
And then they bike around. Why does biking around a little city feel so romantic?
Dude, I don't know.
But it does, right?
But it does.
Like, it really does. Even if it's not, like, obviously, yes, you have two people on the bike. It's like your arms around each other. I get that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like even if it's just one person biking around a city can feel romantic. Just something about biking.
Yeah.
In that kind of like laid back, like casual biking kind of way.
Just kind of, yeah, exactly. Huh.
There's just a romance to it. I don't know why.
Something nice.
Like imagine if they were in a car, you wouldn't have the same vibe.
No, it's only unless you have like the windows down, you're hanging out of the windows and all that.
Yeah, or maybe. Like it's a convertible.
Yeah, but still not quite the same.
Not quite the same.
So, yeah. He gets her home. He finds out that she's seeing an adult man. So, yikes, dude, she's 16. God.
Yep. I don't know what I don't know what Irish consent laws are, especially in the 80s, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
Still not a fan. Nope.
Nope.
So, next day at school, Connor wears makeup and dyes the front of his hair blonde. It's a look.
Oh, also, if we can go back for a moment to the biking scene, I just remembered something. Can we talk about how Rafina casually drops not having parents? She says it so off the cuff. She's just like, parents. Yeah, I don't have those.
It's like, it's it's whatever. It's like, okay.
Rafina, what the fuck?
I get it. I would also drop heavy information casually like that.
That does make sense. That is very much your personality.
Exactly. I mean, like, it'd be like that.
It do be.
It do be. So, goes to school, whole new look. The headmaster's like, fucking take your makeup off. And he's like, fuck you. And then he proceeds to waterboard the poor boy in the sink to take the makeup off. Oh my God.
On the plus side, when he invited him into his private bathroom, I was much more concerned it was something else that was about to happen.
I was so scared. I was like, where is this movie going?
Yeah, I know. I know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if the movie's trying to imply that that's what was going to happen, or if the movie's just trying to, like, remind us that is something that could happen with priests. Like, that's a fear to consider.
Right.
Or if the movie wasn't even thinking about that and we just have our heads in that space. I don't know.
I don't know. It was just like, okay, well, he didn't go in the person bathroom, so we're good. And then he dragged him into another bathroom. Like, oh God, please no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God. Nothing like that happened, but he does waterboard the kid. So like,
he does waterboard the kid.
Like, okay, sure. Yikes. So, he leaves school, runs into Rafina, and she's like, I'm going to call you Cosmo now. I'm like, that's a cute name. I love it.
It is a good name. I also like that she gives a reason for it, because I feel like Rafina is kind of introduced as a manic pixie dream girl, not because she is in this movie, but because he kind of perceives her as that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this movie is deconstructing that image of her, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I like this because I feel like in a movie where she just was a manic pixie dream girl, she'd be like, I'm going to call you Cosmo because it's more fun.
Because it's fun and quirky.
And in this, she's like, I'm going to call you Cosmo because, like, you want to be a musician, you need a better name. And I'm like, yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
Exactly. So, they're recording their next video by the ocean. And then Rafina's like, you know what? Do it for the art. Jumps into the water.
Wait, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? You missed Connor, Cosmo, going to Eamon's again and being like, what are you doing? And Eamon's like, just rabbit stuff.
I did. I'm sorry. That's on me.
I love him.
That is so funny.
I love him so much.
Just the random rabbits he has.
The fucking rabbits are everywhere.
Like, I didn't notice until I think the first time they were all meeting and like they get up from the table because the mom kept interrupting the conversation. He's just like, has a rabbit. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, all right, sure.
Or when they're walking out of the shed where they're smoking, you see like a rabbit on the floor and then a rabbit cage attached to the shed. It's amazing.
What the hell?
It is amazing.
It's really funny. Yes. Gosh. So sorry for skipping over Mr. Rabbit Man.
You should.
I am incredibly sorry.
Should be. Also.
Yes.
When Cosmo's teacher, I suppose we skipped a bunch of bits. When Cosmo's teacher is talking to him, like the woman, hey, love how chill she is. Finally, a teacher that isn't like broken, fundamentally. But she's talking to him, and this is something I noticed for the first time this rewatch. He's telling her about how he's into this girl, and like she has an older boyfriend and all those things, and she says, all the complicated boys and girls, or all the complicated girls and boys. And that's the chorus line for Girls, which they play at the end of the movie, where they sing all the complicated girls love boys who are so complicated.
Look at that. Nice.
I never made that connection until this rewatch.
I didn't.
And I'm so happy that I picked up on it. This movie just keeps revealing things to me, man.
Love it. You love to see it.
Also, is this okay? Am I misremembering, or is the ocean song after the happy sad conversation? I'm pretty sure happy sad comes before that.
I thought it was right after because he rescues her and then they go walking and then she says happy sad, right?
No, it's not after that. I'm looking at my notes. It's not.
Okay. Then I've got the things mixed up then.
Wow. I sit here trusting you.
Oh my God.
Relying upon you.
I watched this movie once. You've seen it like 1,000 times, literally.
I know.
Gosh. Shut up.
But to go back to that, I'm not going to talk about the happy sad scene, but because they talk the happy sad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he's talking to his brother later, I just love how his brother's like, it's pretty high concept stuff. How old is she? 16. She's a monk.
Yeah.
She's a monastic.
He's hilarious.
This movie's so good.
I know.
This movie is so good. I also just enjoy that Cosmo's challenging masculinity by wearing the makeup and like doing the hair things. And he's just like, I don't give a shit. Good for you, Cosmo.
I'm glad.
Good for you.
Good for him. Gosh. Yes, we are.
Now we get to the sea.
We're skipping around a little bit. My notes are all over the place now. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. So they're singing by the ocean. He jumps in, or she jumps in. She can't swim. Cosmo jumps in after her, saves her. They kiss for the first time. It's cute.
It is cute. Yeah. He starts asking about her older boyfriend, and she's like, you ruined it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That boy cannot stop talking for the life of him.
No, really. Just, God, shut up for once in your life.
And then after this, they're walking away and talking to each other, and she, again, just casually drops her trauma. Like, she doesn't explicitly say it, but the implication is that her father, like, sexually abused her.
It's a little,
That girl has just, like, so much fucked up shit in her past.
Yeah, like, that happened. Her dad died in a car accident.
Died.
Her mom's in and out of the hospital.
He was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Manic depressive, yes.
Yeah, it's not great. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, the happy sad conversation happens somewhere.
Somewhere at some
point it does happen.
She tells him he's not happy being sad because that's what love is. Happy sad.
Happy sad. It's okay to.
Which, like, I get her argument, but also that's so dark.
I mean, yeah, but like, just go on, YOLO, make art, all that shit.
Never do anything by halves.
Exactly. Gosh. Let's see.
We are brought to him confronting the bully in the new outfit at school.
Yes.
Because he keeps changing styles, which I enjoy.
I am a fan.
I enjoy that, like, as they go through the 80s, like, I mean, obviously this movie doesn't take place over that long period of time in the 80s, but they're basically just like bouncing from musical styles of the 80s to musical style of the 80s. And as they do it, their style changes, which obviously you realize because you watched it. For the audience, though, who may not have watched this movie, it changes. So like you have the kind of makeup, like dyed hair look, and then you have the more like, like suited glasses, hat look. I don't know how to define these styles, but they have them.
They're there. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he shows up and
when he's wearing this like suited hat style, he confronts the bully. He does. Which I love because he tears that bully apart.
He drags him.
Cosmo goes for his throat.
He does. It's great. He's like, you know what? No.
He's like, maybe you're living in my world. I'm not living in yours.
Yeah, it's like,
and the bully's like, what?
What the fuck did you just say to me?
And he's like, you only have the power to destroy things. You can't create. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, Cosmo.
Literally tore him apart in like 2 sentences and then just walks away. It's like, okay, well, bully is still standing there to this day, wondering what the fuck happened.
Yep.
So some of the boys see like a sign for like a dance where they're like, oh, shoot, we should ask if we can play it. That'd be our first gig. And they're like, all right, cool. Sounds good. Like the part where they're all taking the test and they're all like, what the fuck? What? Like,
yeah, they're just like, we're bad at school, guys.
I don't know what's going on. The bully's like, fuck you. Just crumbles it up. He's like, nope, I'm going to take a nap instead.
Yep.
Mood.
Amazing.
Yes. Cosmo later goes and finds Rufina. He's like, you want to go on an adventure? And she's like, she doesn't even say anything. She just starts walking. I'm like, all right, time to go. They take their his little grandfather's little tiny little boat. It's so cute. They go up to a little island. They share, like, have a nice picnic. They see a ferry headed to England, and they're like, oh, shit. Dreams and shit. And then he kisses her, and she's like, you gotta learn to, like, stop talking. And they kiss. It's cute. It's a cute moment.
It is cute. I like the way their relationship develops. Yeah. I feel like it feels honest. And I like that, you know, like this isn't their first kiss, but it is also like their first what feels like a real kiss, but it also isn't like they're in a relationship now. It feels very like actual real life kind of like tense and like back and forth and like not really knowing what's going on. Yeah.
It's nice. It feels.
I also just like that like they challenge each other. Rafina doesn't feel like a prop for Cosmo's like happiness and growth. It's like he will call her out when she's doing things that are shitty, and she'll call him out when he's being an idiot.
Exactly. So good. They're good for each other. Well, things aren't always super nice because Cosmo goes back home and his parents are like, we're splitting up. We can't legally get divorced.
Peace out, boys.
We need divorce. They're like, oh, cool. I've had this conversation too. It's really fun.
Same. We love to see it.
Love to see it. God. So yeah, it's you know, Brenton's like, I knew this was coming, but this still doesn't take it very well. It's you know, him and Cosmo have a conversation later, and he's like, you know, I used to have dreams and ambitions. Now I'm just known as the stoner guy. And then he kind of like smashes the place, and I'm like, oh, I feel bad. Yeah. You kind of, you know, being the firstborn child, you pave the way for your younger siblings, and you gotta, real shit. Love it. So,
everything just kind of crumbles.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, they go back to school and they practice the video for the new song, Drive It Like You Stole It, the gym. And then Cosmo just kind of like, dream sequence time. He visions how the video's going. It's like,
yeah, he does.
Prom night in like Back to the Future. Everyone's there. They're dancing. Rafina shows up. His parents are there together and happy. Brendan shows up on a motorcycle. He's got a new haircut. He looks dope. He pushes off a guy that was on Rafina, and they have like a quick knife fight.
He's her older boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that guy. It's still a creepy guy.
It's, but, you know. Yeah.
It's a nice scene.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful scene.
The red suits are fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I wanted that red suit to be my look for prom.
Valid.
I almost like if I had money, I would have bought that.
Oh man.
That outfit and just been like, this is my suit.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I love this dream sequence. Like this, it's so good. The back-to-back of just Cosmo's perception falling apart as this is also the end of the second act. So like Cosmo's perception of like, maybe I can bring my family back together falls apart. His perception of his brother, who's been his mentor figure, falls apart. He goes to do this rehearsal, and Rafina's supposed to show up to record. It's not even a rehearsal. They're shooting the video, and Rafina's supposed to show up for the video, and she doesn't show up. So just like all these good things he's been building up to, this hope he's had, this idea of like the world will get better, things will get better, my family will be happy again. It all crumbles. Yeah. And you see this dream sequence, which is like fun and poppy, but it's also just like such an image of everything he doesn't have. Rafina isn't there to like look lovingly at him. His brother isn't there to step out of the house and like back him up. And his parents are not there together. And even the priest, like the head of the school, isn't doing fun backflips and being like, hell yeah, man.
Yeah. It's nice.
It's so
dream.
good.
I really like this scene.
Also, it's a chef's kiss. It's just perfect.
Yes.
Also, Drive It Like You Stole It deserved the best song nomination at the Oscars. It didn't get it, and I'm still mad. I'm still mad.
Terrible. This is a banger of a song, dude.
It is. Do you know what the nominees were for best song that year?
Please enlighten me.
I will tell you. I'm pulling up the Wikipedia page because I had it saved for this exact moment.
Nice.
We have How Far I'll Go from Moana.
Okay.
Which is good.
Right.
Do I think it's as good as Drive It Like You Stole It? Maybe. I would choose Drive It Like You Stole It. I also acknowledge that I'm biased. But also, I love Lin-Manuel Miranda and Hamilton, and like he wrote this song. So I feel like my bias also skews that way.
Yeah. Well, decent. Yeah. Okay. I'll take it.
It's a great song. I don't disagree with that. We have Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake from Trolls.
Okay.
I listened to Can't Stop the Feeling just to be sure that I didn't agree today. And I don't agree. No. This is a better song than Can't Stop the Feeling. Can't Stop the Feeling's fun. It's a fun song. Fun,
but man, this is a better song. Overplayed on the radio, and I'm sick of it now.
Also that.
Yeah.
We have a song called The Empty Chair from Jim, the James Foley Story. I don't know what that song is. I can't speak to it.
Idea.
We have Audition from La La Land.
Okay.
Which, like, yeah, sure.
All right.
And we have the song that won, City of Stars. I don't agree. I don't think City of Stars is the best song, even in the of the nominees. I don't think that City of Stars is a better song than Drive It Like You Stole It. I don't think Audition is either. I definitely don't think Can't Stop the Feeling is.
No, definitely not.
I think Drive It Like You Stole It, at the very least, deserves a nomination. Frankly, I think it deserves Best Song.
You know? Yeah, I'll take it.
These are my opinions.
Also, I can't even remember what any of the songs in La La Land sound like. Oh, well.
They all blend together.
It's an okay movie.
I like... The thing is also, like, I like the opening song.
I don't remember.
The opening song's fun. The first song is... Another Day of Sun.
Oh, when they're all on the highway. Okay.
Which is when they're like all doing, when they're on the highway. That song's fun. I like that song. I think it's better than City of Stars on Audition.
I vaguely remember that, and I vaguely remember when she's singing with her roommates and they all have the cute colored dresses.
Also a great song. Someone in the Crowd. Someone in the Crowd is also a better song than City of Stars on Audition.
This is a La La Land hate podcast now?
It is. This movie and La La Land were the two musicals that came out that year. I think, unless there's a third one I'm forgetting. But these two definitely came out the same year, 2016.
Well, it's upsetting that La La Land got
and everyone's like, La La Land. And I was like, this movie's so much better, though, guys. This movie is so much better.
The thing that La La Land had, it was LA based.
That's true.
That's why it got all the attention.
And it was like, it was also like romantic, like 50s style musical. And this is not that.
Yeah. Like, come on, the music's better. It's like 80s bops. Come on, y'all.
It's so good.
Really good. That's, oh, gosh. Terrible.
He goes to see where Rafina was.
Yes, he goes to her house.
Why she didn't show up?
He's like, hey, what happened? And the door opens. It's one of her housemates. And she's like, actually, Rafina left like last night with her boyfriend to go to London. She's gone. No message for you. She left. And man, we were betting, but we lost money on you, homie. Like, oh, okay.
I love that little moment too. I love that every character feels fleshed out. She could have easily just been a character that was like, oh yeah, she's not here, and that's the moment. It. But I like that she's like, no, like these lives don't exist in a bubble. His life impacted everyone that was living there because they talked about him with Rafina. Like people know about this stuff.
Right.
It feels so lived in, and so many movies don't. And I understand, like, it's easy to focus on the story you're writing and the characters you're writing and not be thinking that much about like every single minor character. But I just love how lived in this world feels and how connected everything feels.
Just what a small little line like that.
Also, I love how broken everyone is in this.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone in this movie is so broken, fundamentally.
Incredibly broken. Yeah, it's fine.
So fucked up. I love it.
Oh, yeah. So some time passes. Cosmo walks by her house again, and then he sees her. He's like, oh, shit, Rafina. She's like, who was that? I'm her younger sister. He's like,
I do not see it.
I don't see it. I am looking away. I don't know who this man is. We're walking down the street.
That's the most you thing I've ever heard. I feel like that's exactly how you'd react to like a boy you don't want to see.
Absolutely. I'd be like, I'm not like, Chloe.
Chloe Naylor? No, I'm Chloe Baylor. You heard of our university?
Right? Yeah, I'm sure you have. Oh, God. Yeah, so he calls her out. He's like, okay, Rafina, let's talk. Hello. And, yeah, it didn't work out. She was told she can't be a model. Or she say, like, her eyes are too big and she's too small. Like, okay.
And by told that, she means her boyfriend said,
yeah,
they never even got to London. Her boyfriend said, your eyes are too big and you're too small, which she interprets that as like, because she's like, he is right. I'm quite short. I can't tell if that is, we're supposed to read that as like, he didn't mean that. He's just saying that like her figure, like she's flat chested. Mm-hmm. Was that the joke? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Because the way she said it, it sounded like the movie wanted us to interpret that as naivety. Of like, oh, look, she acts smart, but she is still this kid. Mm-hmm. Which would make sense if that's what the boyfriend was saying, was like, you're too flat chested to be a model, which doesn't make sense because plenty of models are not flat chested, right. But like,
I don't know. We don't know too much about the boyfriend, so I don't really know for sure.
No, but he does seem to suck.
He does.
So that I wouldn't be surprised if he said that. I just don't know if that's what we were supposed to interpret.
Exactly. Who knows? But
I felt like there was a joke there.
Maybe.
I also love how I didn't notice this until this rewatch. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, when you meet Rafina again in this scene, she's not wearing like her overall getup. Yeah. Because like normally she's like all this makeup, hair done up. And in this, she has a much more like, you know, like normal clothes. She's in ponytails. Mm-hmm. Essentially, she's been de-aged. Not like modern, like MCU de-aging Robert Downey Jr., but it's like, hey, she is a kid. Mm-hmm. She's not putting on this like image of who she is. She's got like ponytails and she's a kid and she's like hurt.
Right.
And she's pulling herself in. And like, that's obvious. Mm-hmm. What never occurred to me until this rewatch is that Cosmo's done it too, because he looks the same way he looked in the beginning of the movie. And that never clicked with me, but like his hair isn't changed anymore. He's not wearing makeup anymore. His clothes look the same as they did when we met him. And I just love that. I love these little visual details. I'm sure audio listeners also love these visual details that they definitely can't see while I'm saying this. And if they haven't watched this movie, have no reference point for.
Yeah, just go watch it, guys. Come on. Outfits are great.
Please do. They are. Their outfits slap.
Let's see, what was I? Yeah, so Rafina is hurt emotionally and physically because she has a bruise on her cheek. Fucking boyfriend hit her. Come on.
Yeah.
Yikes. And she's like, I deserve that. I'm like, no, I don't think that you did.
You really don't. No. Nope.
Yeah.
She tries to be so adult and tough. Yeah.
And then she's like, I might as well just work at McDonald's. And she's like, just like my mom. And she's like, no ambitions. And I'm hanging out with this 15-year-old boy. And Cosmo's like, all right, deuces. And just kind of like leaves her alone.
He's like, fuck that.
Like, well, yeah. Yikes.
Which again, I love that they don't take each other's shit. Cosmo so easily could have been written as this kind of like pathetic man-child stand-in for what's what I'm looking for like incels, for lack of a better word, I guess. But for like, you know, like there's so many movies where it is that kind of like self-insert pathetic male character so that like all the nerdy audience is watching it. Not that all nerds are that way, but just like there are a lot of people in the world who cling on to that idea. And you see that a lot with Manic Pixie Dream Girl stories where you have the guy who's kind of pathetic and awkward and shy and the girl who's super cool. And she likes him despite him being awkward and shy and not super attractive. And like he gets with her and he's never really like mad at her. Yeah. They always have a falling out for some reason, but he's never inherently mad. He's always just kind of desperate to get her back. Mm-hmm. And in this, we don't have that. In this, we have him being like, hey, yeah, I'm 15. You're 16. Fuck you.
Right. I appreciate that he just kind of like walked away instead of them having like a huge blonde argument and whatever. Mm-hmm. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. This movie is so good.
He
goes back to Eamon. He runs away from his one love and returns to his other love.
True. You love it. I love every time he goes back to the rabbit man's house and they just vibe.
The rabbit man.
Rabbit man. That's what he is now. They talk to Barry the bully and they're like, hey, we need a roadie for our band. Want to be in? He's like, all right, bet.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's like, it's these little details. The bully could have so easily been just a side character that was a basic conflict that was forgotten by the end of the movie, but they didn't. They brought him back in. Or like when they're up on the hill writing a song, that could have just been a scene of them up on the hill writing a song. But they also add in the bike getting stolen because this is 1980s Ireland and everyone's poor.
Right. I thought that was funny too. Oh, God.
It was so funny.
They're like, wait a minute. They go start chasing after him. Oh, God. That's good shit. Let's see. Yeah, no, I appreciate that they got the bully back instead of just kind of like leaving. Like the last time we could have seen him would be like when Cosmo just fucking ripped him to shreds. And like that would be the last time. I'm like, no, he's back. Redemption arc, yay.
Yep. Zuko, is that you?
Oh my gosh, no way. Oh boy. So it's the night of the dance. They're playing a great show until like Cosmo's like, hey, we should play slow songs, and then everybody kind of like fucks off until it's just the couples.
Which I appreciate that they play a slow song.
Oh
though.
yeah.
Like I don't mean like as an audience member, but as someone who's been to dances, I like when they play slow songs. Either it means I get to do a slow dance with someone, or more realistically, it means I get to take a break from dancing and go talk to my friends because it's quieter for once.
Exactly.
It's a nice change of pace.
It is. You need a little balance there.
I appreciate them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you can't have this high-end energy stuff the entire time. You need a little break. But just a little break before the final song. A fucking banger. It's for the headmaster, and the bullies like break the light switch, the lights stay off, and he hands out those masks of the headmaster's face. Everybody wears them. He just kind of fucks off. He's like, oh, all right, bye, okay. It's great. Rafina actually shows up.
It is great. She's got her hairstyle back, her makeup back. She's back in her vibe.
It's great. Song's a banger. They run off together after the show. They go home to Cosmo's house, to Brendan, and they're like, hey, can you drive us to the dock? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. What's up? He's like, oh, we're going to go to London. He's like, okay, cool. Yeah, when? And we're like, oh, right now. Like, oh, okay, sure. Good older brother. He's like, bet. Let's do it.
I love it.
Yes. Gosh. And he's like, do you even know anybody in London? They're like, no. He's like, all right. Yeah. That's fine.
Rafina's like, no. And Cosmo's like, you don't? And she's like, no. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Whatever. Okay. It's fine. I mean, she's got her headshots and
you got your CVs. I got my demo tapes.
Exactly. We're good to go. So he like quickly packs. He goes into his parents' room, sees that his dad's sleeping on the floor, tells his mom goodbye, and that he loves her. It's nice. And then Brendan drives them to the dock. And it's a really nice goodbye moment. They get on. And he's like, hey, Rafina, take care of him. She's like, all right, yeah. She's
like, come visit. You seem like a mad bastard. I'm like, that's,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he really does.
Absolutely. So they start driving off in that little tiny boat. Brendan like watches them and cheers, and I'm like, oh, that's really nice. And then it starts pouring rain. They run into the ferry going to England, and they're like, we're on the right track. They follow it. Adam Levine plays. Credits roll. It's beautiful. The end.
It is beautiful. I love the feeling of that final scene.
Yes.
I love everything about it.
Yes.
I love that things aren't easy. I love that they're like still like they're not going off into the sunset. It's not this like beautiful picturesque moment. It's like the rain is pouring down. Mm-hmm. They almost crash into a massive ship. Like things are not easy. And I feel like the feeling that I get, at least watching it, is like things aren't going to be easy. This isn't the movie saying like, look, they're going to go make it in London. It's time for their dreams to come true. It's like, no,
it's going to be hard.
Things will still be hard. We don't know if they will succeed or won't succeed. And like, I feel like that's what this movie is saying at the end of the day is like, it's the little victories. The movie doesn't have Cosmo end with like a happy family reunification or like, and their house is lost. It's being sold now. Mm-hmm. And his brother doesn't perform at his final show like he asked his brother to.
Right.
And it doesn't end with like the band making it big. It's not like the final scene is, some talent agent who happened to be at their show walking up to them and being like, hey, we want to sign you.
Right.
It's just that moment of like the freedom to pursue what you want without knowing what's coming next. And I'm obsessively in love with it.
It's a really good message. I am a fan of that.
It is.
A lot.
Also, I just like the little For Brothers Everywhere title card at the end.
That was cute.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
Yeah. Aw.
Chloe, that of course was our movie. That was Sing Street.
Yes.
Which brings me to the big question, the big details. What did you think of it?
I really liked it.
Good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
There was
again, because with Sing Street, sorry, continue.
No.
Tell me everything you're thinking.
Okay. No, like at the beginning, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like it. And then I'm like, what am I going to do if like I don't like it? What am I going to tell Ben? This is like his all-time favorite movie. Like I watched half of it and I'm like, okay, I got to take a nap. I did that, took a shower, came back, watched the rest of it. I'm like, oh, okay, I really like this now. Just needed a refresh. I'm like, okay, the music slaps. That. It's all really good.
Mm-hmm. And again, like it's this weird thing for me with Sing Street where I'm always nervous to introduce it to people because I know that I didn't love it my first time watching it. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not super expecting anyone to go in and be like, I hate this.
No, yeah,
I'm sure it would happen at some point. I'm sure that someone out there exists with that opinion, but like, I didn't know what you were going to think because it's complex. I think in a way, like it's simple, but it's also complex. A lot of its characterization is just like small details that's layered throughout that I've picked up on after watching it many, many, many times. So like the nuance of this movie is not something that I got the first time I watched it or the second time I watched it. It's something that I've gotten over time. And I feel like as much as I love it, those details add to that love. So if someone watches it and they're like, oh yeah, like this kid playing music in the 80s. Sure. I'm like, I get that. I understand.
I mean, yeah.
I don't agree, but I understand.
Exactly. You take things at face value. You don't realize the little details until later, or you talk to somebody that absolutely adores the movie.
Has seen it a million times. What were your feelings when you paused it midway through? Like, what were you thinking at that point? And do you feel like it shifted, or do you feel like you just started to appreciate it more? Or is there like a specific shift in your mindset?
I don't know. It might have been that I was just tired and I'm like, I don't know if I can truly appreciate it if I'm not fully like, because I was like fully watching it, but I'm like, I don't know. Maybe there was a shift in like a vibe or something. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it was after they played. I think I paused it maybe like 45 minutes on the way through. I don't know.
It's probably around like A Beautiful Sea.
Yeah, which I really like that part.
Yeah.
I think I paused right about there. I'm like, okay, I started liking it again. Took a break, came back. And then just banger after banger after banger. And I'm like, okay, love it.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Chloe.
Ben.
Obviously, for anyone who's listening to this, we have our stock go-to questions. So let's go to the first one. What are your 3 favorite scenes? Tell me one of them. Obviously in no specific order because it'd be a pain in the ass for either of us to try and do that.
Absolutely.
Like, what's one of your favorite scenes from this movie?
Okay. So it's when the band is coming back on the bus from shooting by the ocean and then kind of like looks around at his friends and Rafina and like smiles. And I'm like, I like having moments like that.
It's really cute.
Those are the best kind of moments when you just kind of like take a step back from the moment and enjoy it. You see all your friends having a good time and you're like, I want to savor this. Those are the best.
And I feel like it speaks to like film too, because the thing that I always hear as a screenwriter in like film school especially was, you know, show don't tell. It's always like plays are a medium based on language. So in a play you do a lot of talking because that's what the audience can really experience.
Right.
But in a movie, because it's so visual, because you have the camera and you have close-ups and you have all of this stuff, if you can show it visually, do that. And I have my disagreements with that mentality because I think I've watched plenty of movies that are talking heavy that I love. But I definitely think that like there is a power to the visuals. And this is a great example of that, where like it's just so many moments. They're just kind of like the visuals of it. Or there are scenes where one character's talking, but what the scene is really about is about the other character reacting to it. And I feel like if you're looking at this from like a very simplistic screenwriting standpoint, you're like, oh, there's no conflict in that scene because it's just one character saying something. Or like with the scene when the mom is sitting outside having a cigarette and Brendan and Connor are sitting on the stairs and Brendan's talking and he's like, she races home from work every day to sit on those stairs for the last like beam of sunlight. She keeps talking about wanting to go to Spain. Dad never takes her.
Yeah.
And you could interpret that as exposition. It's just one character saying details with no real conflict. But I don't agree, because that scene is really about like, it's not about telling the audience this thing. It's about how Brendan copes with his parents' relationship, and how Cosmo copes with his parents' relationship, and how Brendan keeps kind of leaning on Cosmo by just telling him everything going on and all of his feelings, even if Cosmo can't necessarily cope with it.
Right.
And all that's conveyed in just tone and the way the characters are looking, and such a visual. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Really good.
My favorite, like, I think this is probably my favorite scene in the movie is when, and it's a scene I'm doing like a 30-day film challenge on Twitter right now, where each day it's a different like topic and I choose a movie, and I chose Sing Street in like week 1 or week 2 or something. And one of the scene that I included with that tweet was this scene, which is when Brendan loses it at Cosmo in his bedroom, because I adore that scene. I adore everything about it. I adore how Brendan has been built up as this like standard mentor figure, like, oh yeah, the stoner older brother helping you out.
Yeah.
And this scene comes and we realize as an audience that we've been watching this movie as Cosmo. We've been viewing these characters the way Cosmo views them, which is kind of simplistic and hopeful and kind of like, oh yeah, like my older brother, he just hangs out at home, you know, he helps me out with music, he's great.
Just vibing,
and
you know, yeah.
The brother's like, no, I've had my own life. I was a really fast runner. I was the fastest runner at school, and I was on the team for that. And I could play guitar, and I got girls, and I had hopes, and I had dreams, and I had potential. And like the way he puts it is, as you know, he's talking Cosmo. He's like, you followed in the path that I blazed for you. And that's fine. You moved along in my slipstream, and that's fine. But people praise you and they laugh at me, the stoner, the college dropout. But once I was a fucking jet engine, and I'm just like, it's so good.
It's a really good scene.
And just like, and I'm not saying that my sister and I have that dynamic necessarily, but as the oldest sibling in my house, there is definitely those things where like I remember having fights to earn something as a kid. Yeah. And then my sister just got it. Yeah. And I'm sure you've had that same thing where it's just like once you've made that fight, the younger sibling just gets it.
And they just get it. Exactly.
And I'm not like a stoner dropout in school. And it's not like I think that like my sister's achieved things purely on the basis of like me laying the groundwork for her. And it's not like this movie's demonizing people who do that either, because it's not demonizing Cosmo.
No, right.
But it's so good.
Exactly.
It's so good.
Really.
It is my favorite scene in this movie.
I get it. I understand. Yeah. Going off of
but what is your next favorite scene?
Another favorite scene would be is Brendan saying goodbye and cheering as he sees his brother go off and live his dream.
It's like, great.
I almost wanted to cry.
He jumps in the air. He pumps his fist.
He's like so fucking excited and happy for his little brother going off and doing that. And I'm like, oh, I love that. It's really sweet.
And again, it's this feeling for me of like, this movie's about the small victories.
Yeah, exactly.
Brendan didn't go play at the performance like he wanted to. He hasn't really gotten out of the house. Like, this is the first time we've ever seen him get out of the house. Aside from like sitting on the front porch.
I like that part. He's like, you never get out. And he's like, victory. I'm out here.
He's like, I'm right here.
I'm like outside right now.
Outside. Honestly, me right now, quarantine mood.
Yes.
I've been sitting in my backyard to like read and do work lately, and I'm just like, oh my god, air.
It's been raining the past couple days here, so like I can't even.
I'm
do that.
so sorry.
Yeah.
It was like that yesterday, but today it's sunny, so I took advantage of it.
Nice, fair.
But also, I live in California, and we're better.
You know, you're not wrong. So yeah.
Haha, victory.
I will openly admit this. I
know, but I'm still going to claim it.
Fine. Okay.
My second favorite scene, and again, like this is my favorite movie. It's really hard to narrow down to 3 scenes. And any other day, I might choose other ones, but partly just for the sake of like what we're talking about and like talking about film. I really love when Cosmo meets Rafina. Because again, this movie is really efficient.
Mhm.
And that scene is really efficient. It's like in a very quick conversation, we establish this is the first time I think we hear Connor sing well. Because we hear him sing in the beginning, but it's like a joke. This is the first time we really hear him sing well.
Right.
So we established that he actually can sing.
Mm-hmm.
We established that Rafina's a model. We established that she is kind of too cool for school with everyone. We established that Cosmo knows how to lie. Like he can be a con man.
Mm-hmm.
He can be a little manipulative bitch, and I love him for it. We also established that like he's like partially intimidated by this girl, but he's also not terrified of her. Like he will stand his ground.
Mm-hmm.
And we also like get all these little moments of her being like, she's smart. She doesn't just say like, oh, you're in a band? Cool. Like, no, she challenges him and he meets that challenge. And beyond that, it's also the moment when she's like, oh, I forget exactly what she mentions. If she's like, I've never been in a music video or something or whatever, I forget specifically. But he expresses like, ah, man, that could be tough. And that's just like, that's brilliant. He doesn't just take the yes immediately.
Mm-hmm.
He's so smart and he's smooth and he's this little con man. And there's just like so much stuff about these characters that's set up in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. I love it. I just love how efficient that is as storytelling.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that like a lot of teachers talk about is, you know, as a screenwriter, each scene should tell us X amount of like at least X amount of things about characters.
Mm-hmm.
If we come out of a scene and we only know one more thing about a character, two more things about a character, especially like a lengthy scene, you're wasting your time. And I think this movie's just really good at taking little short scenes or like and giving us a decent amount of details or taking long scenes and giving us a fuck ton of details.
Yeah. Good.
It's just never lazy. It's never a lazy script.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You love to see it.
I love it. Okay. What is your final favorite scene?
The dream sequence of Connor imagining the senior prom dance.
I get it.
It's so much fun.
I was really hoping you would choose that because I didn't choose it and it hurt me that I didn't choose it.
Okay. I was worried that you would choose it because it's so much fun.
It's so fun.
Everybody is dancing, loving the music. His parents are there together. They're happy. Rafina shows up. She's looking at him lovingly. The headmaster's doing backflips and he's like, hell yeah, dude. Fun. Brenton shows up on his cool motorcycle and a fresh new haircut. Mm-hmm. It's a good scene. It's a lot of fun.
And it's a lot of fun. And then again, just like a theme that this movie continues with that I feel like is inherent to the movie is like happy, sad.
Yeah.
This movie ends on a good note, but it's so pained and sad throughout itself, where it's like it both feels like a feel good movie, but also feels like this like emotional film. It's like, to me at least, I watch this movie and I'm like, I am sad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm both very happy and also kind of depressed.
Yeah, I get that.
Because it's just like there's so much pain happening for all these characters. And like, yeah, Rafina and Cosmo get out, but we don't know if they'll succeed. Mm-hmm. We don't know if Brendan will ever make anything of himself. The parents are still divorced. Like, there's so much pain in this movie. And that leads me into my third favorite scene, which is the happy, sad scene. Because I quote the idea of happy, sad all the time, because I feel like it kind of is just like a very simple way of defining something I love in movies. I love beautiful tragedies. And this isn't necessarily that, but it is. I feel like beautiful tragedy is a subset of happy, sad.
Okay.
And this movie is that, in my opinion, where it's just like, I like movies that have pain, but also like nice things. And like, I like finding ways to be happy in your suffering. And I'm not saying that I'm like, oh yes, Rufino's right. Like love is happy, sad, but also it kind of is like, not that you should just believe that like love is pain, but some people go through life being like, love is great. Love just makes me happy all the time. And it's like, no, sometimes love hurts. Sometimes like the person you're with is in a bad place and it hurts to be there for them, but you need to be there for them because you love them and you want to be. And sometimes you guys have a tense few weeks and that hurts. And if you believe in, I'm getting very philosophical right now.
No, it's fine. I'm enjoying
and
this.
I'm rambling, but like, if you believe that like love will just always be good, then for the most part, unless you're really, really like weirdly, I don't want to say lucky, but end up in a really weird situation where it just is always good, which would be weird. Again, just so strange. It's you do have to be able to embrace the moments when you're sad and be happy because of them. And I feel like that's just kind of a thing I like in movies. Again, going back to that like films list. There was a day that was like, what movie makes you, maybe it wasn't the films list. It was something else. At some point I was talking to someone or thinking about something where it was like, I was talking to Belinda, our friend, and we were talking about movies that make us happy or like feel good, movies that make us feel good.
Okay.
And for me, if a movie's just always happy, I don't feel good watching it. I might enjoy it. Like Princess Bride is a movie that like makes me happy, but I wouldn't call it feel good.
Okay.
It's like for a movie to be feel good, it needs to crush me first. This movie makes me feel good. Coco makes me feel good.
Yeah.
The Theory of Everything makes me feel good, but it also crushes me emotionally.
Absolutely. You need the low points to appreciate the happiness, you know?
Yeah. And it's like life hurts. And when I want something to make me feel good, I want something to make me feel good despite the pain, not something to make me feel good by forgetting about the pain, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Also, on that note, I watched The Theory of Everything last night with my family. And you know what I realized? Because like I love the music in The Theory of Everything.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I listen to that soundtrack constantly.
Really good.
Do you know who the composer is?
Because I know one song, I think, off the top of my head. Who is it?
His name is Johan Johansson.
Okay.
And he's also the composer for Prisoner's Arrival in Sicario.
Oh my God. I love it. Wow. Okay. You know, that makes sense. I've only seen it, Theory of Everything, I think once. But, you know, the music stands out, so that makes sense.
I listen to that soundtrack when I'm like trying to study a lot. Because that music just, it slaps.
It's really good. Yeah.
Also, Johan Johansson, dead. So we're not getting anything more from him.
Fuck. Okay.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Damn it.
I didn't want you to like discover that later and be like, I was waiting for the next piece.
Oh no.
I was waiting for Prisoners 2.
Electric Boogaloo, you know?
Yeah,
Damn
I'm sorry.
Oh well.
Yep. That's my third favorite scene. I love it. I love how they challenge each other in the scene as well, just beyond the happy, sad moment. Like, I just like their dynamic in that scene. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good ass scene.
It is.
Yeah.
Real good.
Chloe.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite non-protagonist character in this movie?
I thought I was going to be picking, like, Rafina, basically, the whole time. I'd be like, other girl. I actually really liked Brendan.
The love interest.
The love interest. Brendan
I get that.
is, the older sibling. I relate to that. You want the best for your younger siblings, and he's like funny and cute, and I want the best for him too. Yeah,
I mean, I agree with you. Like I love this movie on every level. I love the relationship with Rafina. I love the weird comedy. I love the school dynamics, and I love the music. But what really sets this movie above anything else, the reason this is my favorite movie, is the family dynamics. And that is so hinged around Brendan. Like I can't imagine this movie without that character. It would be a different movie. He's amazing. I love him. Yeah, and that's also why when everyone's like, oh, Jack Rayner, like the guy from Transformers, like, oh, Jack Rayner, the guy from like Midsummer, I get it. I understand these are more well-known movies. Right. But just Brendan is so important to me in this movie and to this movie that it's just like, it's not like, oh, he's a side character in Sing Street. It's like, no, he's kind of like one of the most important, if not the most important characters in Sing Street. Right. This movie, like, there's a reason the movie ends with For Brothers Everywhere. It doesn't end with like, for the pursuit of music or like for finding love. Yeah, nothing like that. It's a brotherly love. Yeah, I love it. Exactly. I also, it was hard for me to decide, to be fair, because like, not really, because Brendan is my favorite character. That's not the protagonist. Also, Brendan's my favorite character, I think, even including Cosmo. Okay. But I love Rafina and Eamon so much. If I didn't pick Brendan, I might have picked Eamon because he just cracks me up. I get it.
Yeah.
The rabbits.
The
rabbits, man. What is that about?
Rabbit stuff, he's just doing rabbit stuff.
It's beautiful. Just doing rabbit stuff. I love his relationship with Cosmo. A lot of people ship him with Cosmo.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I thought you might. There's I haven't watched YouTube videos shipping them, but I've seen the thumbnails of YouTube videos shipping them occasionally. Like if I've been Googling a lot of Sing Street stuff, I'll get recommended Sing Street things. And it's a very limited fan base. So the selection of Sing Street things to recommend me is slim. Yeah. So I see Eamon Connor ships.
That, makes sense. Girls see two white boys and they're like, ship. And I'm like, oh, well, okay.
It's true.
Yeah.
They do have I don't think it'd be that hard. I think Rafina's good to this movie. I think she's important and I'd be sad if she left. But I think if you removed Rafina and made them a relationship, it wouldn't be that hard to turn them into a relationship.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
I think it'd be hard to make up for the loss of Rafina, but I think they could pretty easily be pushed that direction.
True.
Also, just Rafina's great. I just want to
she is really great.
emphasize how great. I love that she is not a manic pixie dream girl. Yeah. I feel like she could have so easily been one, but she's not, and I love it.
Thank goodness.
She has her own desires. She pushes Cosmo. She doesn't just accept everything that he wants. She straight up leaves him to pursue her dreams before that falls apart.
Right.
Like, Sing Street is what Paper Towns wanted to be.
Okay. Yeah. Valid.
I'm sorry, John Green. I do enjoy Paper Towns. It's a pretty good book. The movie, not so much.
Yeah.
Chloe.
Benefit.
What do you feel like this movie is saying? What are the themes you get from this?
Follow your dreams, your heart, all that cheesy stuff, cliches. But
do you feel like there's anything else?
That's really all I got from it this first time watching it at face value.
I get that. Yeah, I understand.
Hundreds of times. Yeah.
I mean, also, like, themes can sometimes be hard to interpret just regardless. It's not like if you just sit there, you're going to be like, you might understand it on an emotional level, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can like put the words to it.
Right.
You don't need to like be able to verbalize your feelings about a movie to appreciate a movie.
Exactly.
We aren't here to be elitist.
Thank you for that.
I'm not.
Good.
You're welcome. I feel like you're right. A part of it's just like follow your dreams. I feel like for me, I don't know. For me too, I don't quite know how to put to words everything I feel about it, but I feel like so much of this movie is about escape. It's about like escaping from the things that confine you. And you see it with all these characters. Like most of these characters are trapped in something.
Yeah.
Like Cosmo is trapped in Ireland because the career he wants to pursue isn't something he can really do from a small school in Ireland during the 1980s. He says it himself, he needs to get to the mainland. And Rafina's in the same boat where like she's trapped in Ireland because she wants to be a model and she needs to go to London for that. But also she's trapped in the pain that she has. She's trapped in this like desperate desire to latch on to someone that can help her escape the trauma she's gone through. And we see that as she kind of tears down this facade she's built for herself of like the cool made up model girl, but then also grow and decide to own it and decide that she isn't just the trauma of it and she can be that person herself. And I love that. And we see it too with like the mom is trapped in the marriage and not just trapped in the marriage because like they're still married, like they can't get divorced, which I always forget.
Right. They were like,
it always gets that scene. They're like, there's no divorce in Ireland. And I'm like, right.
Like, oh, okay.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Huh.
And like when she's sitting out there on the porch and she's having her last cigarette, that smoke in the sun, and, you know, the brother's talking about it and he's like, yeah, she wants to go to Spain. She's been talking about going to Spain forever and dad never takes her. She's trapped there. She's trapped in Ireland in that marriage and that life. And we see it with all of the kids. Like all the kids are trapped in the damage of the family that is around them, and they're all affected by it in some way, especially Cosmo and especially Brendan and maybe the sister too. We don't see a ton of her.
Yeah, no.
She's kind of just there.
She's just hanging out. No. Yeah.
I do like that we get the one scene of them all dancing together and like having a good time, because so much of it is the conflict with her.
It's
we get that moment where we're like, oh yeah, like your siblings, you get along. It's cute.
Exactly. It's a nice moment. I like that.
Mm-hmm. And then like Brendan too. Brendan doesn't leave the house. He's literally trapped in this house.
Mm-hmm.
And he was literally trapped by his mom from going to Germany like he wanted to and like pursuing his art there and like his future there. And he's kind of like trapped in this like shell of a human being and this pain that he has. And I feel like the movie's a lot about like the damage and the trauma that we experience through life and how it holds us back and the struggle of trying to break free from that and the danger and the uncertainty that comes when you do it. These are my feelings.
Valid and true. Yeah, you're right. I mean,
I feel like if I had to summarize this movie in one sentence, it'd be just try. At the end of the day, the movie's just saying like, just try, just do it. It's the Nike movie. Just do it.
Exactly. Nike, here's your new campaign.
Rock and roll is a risk.
You just play this movie.
There's a reason they put that line in the soundtrack. It's like rock and roll is a risk, and this movie is about risk. It's about risking things.
Yeah.
And it's about how you can find your passions from the unlikeliest source, because it'd be so easy for this movie's plot to be interpreted as like, he makes a fake band to get the girl and he gets the girl. Yay. But this movie isn't about getting the girl.
Right.
It's about finding this passion in the band, and the girl is there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like part of that growth, but she isn't the goal. The band is the goal.
The music is the goal. Yeah. She just happens to be there.
The music's so good.
It's really good.
Chloe, what do you think of the ending? How do you feel about it? Are you happy with it?
Yes.
Good.
Usually, I know that typically
some people
I'm a fan of like
have an issue with it.
Ambiguous ends like that. Yeah.
I like ambiguous endings. I also like happy endings. Like not happy, like not necessarily like they all like walked off into the sunset, like happily ever after. I don't need that. But I like endings that end on a more positive note.
Yeah.
And I like that this movie doesn't give us like Coco ends on a purely positive note. Everything's better. Like Hector is now known and Ernesto de la Cruz has been like disparaged in the media. And like, I love that. I cry. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate movies like this where it's like positive, but not like bubblegum positive.
Yeah. Not everything is tied up in a nice neat little bow, but
exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a musical? There are arguments on this. Do you think this movie is a musical?
I want to say no, just because my idea of a musical is just like a stereotypical, I'm going to sing my thoughts and emotions. Like,
sure.
Not like in the context of a band, but like I'm walking down the street, I'm going to school, I'm singing about going to school. You know?
Would you argue Camp Rock is also not a musical then? Have you seen Camp Rock?
Oh God, it's been years.
Or Lemonade Mouth?
That I actually haven't seen, no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's argument on this. I'm fundamentally in the camp that I think this movie is a musical.
Okay.
And I understand the argument for it not being. But here's my feelings. Like there are movies like, I'm trying to think of movies you might have seen. Have you seen Yesterday? I feel like probably not.
No.
Yeah. There are movies like Yesterday and Hearts Beat Loud, and I'm trying to think of ones you might know, and Pitch Perfect.
Okay.
And those movies are about characters singing. But the songs, Hearts Beat Loud, a lot of the songs do connect very fundamentally to the story, but you kind of don't get the full song until the end of the movie in just like a montage of songs. And it's also only 3 songs, so it's just like very limited. And then Yesterday is a guy just singing Beatles songs. And Pitch Perfect is just like they all get together on the stage and they sing these songs.
Right.
But in my opinion, Sing Street isn't that. The songs are what Cosmo is feeling. It's just instead of presenting them as like he bursts out into the songs, it's like he writes the songs and then develops the songs and then they perform the songs. But it doesn't detach that feeling, in my opinion. It doesn't detach those feelings from the moment, I guess, because a lot of those songs are presented as montages and you see kind of the emotional weight that they carry. Like you see A Beautiful Sea being played, or Up. Is it Up or is it A Beautiful Sea? I don't remember. But you see, I'm going to find my note that reminds me of all these things. Yeah, you see Up playing and you see like Rafina crying, listening to the music, and it transitioning to like Cosmo's new makeup. And it's giving me this feeling of like how this song is affecting them and how it's changing things. And for me, that's what a musical is. It's about what this music means to the characters. And yes, that can be the characters belt out into song and this is like their inner voice. But I feel like this movie still captures in the moment how this music impacts them and affects them and they feel about it. And the same thing with like Drive It Like You Stole It. It's the fantasy of what he wants. It's not just, oh, they get on stage and they play a song. Like, cool, look at these guys playing a song. It's like, no, this is like an emotionally impactful thing. And same thing with like Brown Shoes. It's emotionally impactful because it is them rebelling against the teacher. So it feels like it is, to use a very filmy term, it is diegetic. It is something that's happening within the narrative of the movie. It is not like, is this really happening? Like when you watch a lot of musicals where they break out into song, you're like, how are they perceiving this? Is this happening to them or is this happening to us? I don't know. It's not that, but it still feels, and also just like there's so many songs. That's the other thing. True. There's just so many songs.
That's true.
It's like, it's not a couple songs. It's not like, oh, look, Queen gets on stage and plays a song. It just, I don't know. It feels to me like this music is still so connected to their emotions and to their growth. It doesn't feel like the songs are stunting the development of the story, but it also doesn't feel like Pitch Perfect. The songs don't stunt the development of the story because the story is about, will they win the competition with this song? But this movie isn't about that. This movie continues the progress of the story because the songs are connected to their emotions and to their moment.
That's true. That's fair. The songs are woven in rather than just being kind of plopped on top of the plot. Yeah. So, okay. This
is my argument for it being a musical.
I get it. Okay.
Also, I've sat through a rock musical class in school. And I'm not saying that like my professor's perception of what is and is not a musical is like the end all be all, because it's not. Teachers can be wrong many times.
Right.
But the scope of what that teacher considered a musical is much broader than I ever expected.
Okay.
Like there's a movie called Easy Rider, which is about guys riding around, I believe, on motorcycles in the 70s. And there's a lot of just montages of them riding motorcycles with music playing over it and no other sound. It's just the songs with the motorcycles riding around. And he's like, this is a musical. And I'm like, is it?
Okay. Interesting.
So I'm not saying that he's right, but he has also studied on this. So I don't feel like I have the place to say he's wrong either.
Fair. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, in conclusion, this is my argument that Sing Street is a musical. People can fight me.
Okay.
Chloe, do you have any other thoughts about this movie?
I'm going to look the songs up on Spotify after this.
Hell yes, you are. I'm going to play the songs after this recording ends.
Nice.
Because it's so good.
They're really
so good. I need that record.
I hope that you find it.
Thank you.
I hope that we get to go out again soon and we can all just hang out and walk around and go to record stores.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Maybe if I just go to Ireland, I can find it.
Maybe.
Maybe if I just like get on a small little boat right now, much like they do, and I ride that boat all the way to Ireland. By the time I get there, this will be better.
Yeah.
Or I'll be dead.
Or that, because you're crossing the entire Atlantic rather than just a little.
Who can say?
Yeah. Well. Okay.
Who can say?
You never know.
Who can say? Exactly. You never know. It's an adventure.
It is.
I love how textured the characters are in this movie, Chloe.
Okay.
Like, I feel like so many movies just give you side characters and they exist and you're like, they're there. They progress the plot. Sure. But this movie gives so many side characters, so many little details.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And like, I've brought this up, like with Rafina's housemate, because like Rafina is in a orphanage.
Right.
With Rafina's orphanage mate, they're like, oh, we had bets going for you. I'm like, oh, this is like a nice little character detail. Or like Eamon is a great example where like the rabbits.
Rabbits
are such a weird character detail, but it makes him stand out. Mm-hmm. Or even like you don't just see him, you see his mom.
Yeah.
And you see her opinion of the music. And there's that one scene when they're playing the song in Eamon's living room, and it cuts to his mom in her bedroom, and she's like closing the door and turning on a vibrator. And I'm like, this is such a weird but interesting little detail. Mm-hmm. It's just fleshing out all these characters and their feelings.
Exactly.
And it's still such a weird little detail. It's an alarming little thing that just happens in the movie, and you're like, oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, all right, sure, yeah.
And then it's never talked about again.
Yeah.
But I kind of love that.
It's just, it's whatever. They're characters. They're people.
Yeah, or like Enyeg, or I don't know how to say his name. But you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
When they're doing Riddle of the Model, which also slaps. Mm-hmm. Great song.
True.
And when they're doing Riddle of the Model, he's like trying to get more attention in the music video. So he's starting to like move his keyboard in front of one of the guitarists.
Yeah.
And then he pops in for like the Riddle of the Model part with Cosmo. And I'm just like, these are such good little character details. They feel like real people.
Yeah.
And not just side characters to exist to progress the plot. Mm-hmm. It's so good. I love it. I love it so much. That is not an easy thing to do. It might feel easy when you watch it, but it's not an easy thing to do when you're writing a movie.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Like I said, I love Eamon and Cosmo's relationship. I've said the script is efficient. I've said all these things. The cinematography, I like the cinematography in this movie a lot. It's very simple. Yeah. It's very naturalistic, but I really enjoy it. Nice. I think it very efficiently does what it's supposed to do. It never feels in your face. It never feels... Sometimes it's a bit more magical, but it never is so magical that it feels like disconnected from the rest of the movie, except for the fantasy sequence. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Nice.
What are your 3 favorite songs in this movie?
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm also curious to know if they're your 3 favorite musical sequences in this movie. You don't need to like rank a different set. I'm just curious if you'd think those line up. But first, tell me your 3 favorites.
They might. First favorite, Drive It Like I Stole It, which I also do like that sequence.
It fucking slaps.
It slaps. It's fucking great.
As we know.
Such a good part. Second one, I think It's a Beautiful Sea. Maybe. I was looking through the Wikipedia. Okay. I'm like, I don't remember which song this is, but I think it's the same one that plays.
It's when she jumps in the water.
That is, and I'm trying to remember if that's the same one or not the same one, or what I'm thinking of. I think I like the song she's listening to when she's crying and taking off her makeup. I don't know if is that a different song?
That's Up.
That's Up. So I mean Up.
That's Up.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
So Up rather than Beautiful Sea.
Also a banger.
And then number 3 is the last song that they sing at the dance. The fuck.
Brown Shoes.
Brown Shoes. Yeah. The fuck you to the Dean, basically. Yes.
The fuck you to the yeah. Mine is almost identical to yours. Drive It Like You Stole It and Brown Shoes are bangers. I think I like Brown Shoes a bit more, but I think Drive It Like You Stole It's like an objectively better song. Okay. Either way, I love both of them dearly. Mm-hmm. And then it's just because like Brown Shoes feels kind of punk rock.
Yes.
It feels like the 80s. It feels like it comes from the 80s style of music that was going to eventually evolve into pop punk. And I fucking love pop punk.
Me too.
So I enjoy Brown Shoes a lot.
Yes.
I chose A Beautiful Sea.
Okay.
Because like I almost chose Up. I was between A Beautiful Sea and Up. Mm-hmm. But I think I like A Beautiful Sea a bit more. Okay. Sorry to Find You. To Find You is the third love ballad he writes that he sings as like the slow dance song.
Okay.
And I like To Find You. Mm-hmm. I like Up and A Beautiful Sea better. Also Riddle of the Model, obviously. A banger. I enjoy it a lot. It is very like, oh my gosh. It is very Duran Duran-esque though.
True. Very true.
And I like, what's the song we're forgetting? Girls. Girls is also a great song.
Oh yeah.
It's got a good beat.
Shout out.
Before we head into some games, Chloe, just a couple things you may not have known. For this movie, Carney purposefully wanted to cast actors that weren't known. So, or like hadn't really done much acting. So as you noticed, a lot of the actors I brought up were like this is their film debut.
Yeah.
And the reason Carney did this is because he was like, if I cast actors who have been like kid actors who've been trained, they're going to have a lot of bad habits taught to them by acting coaches that I don't want them to have.
Okay.
So he's like, so instead, I'll cast actors who aren't experienced and they'll develop my bad habits.
Nice.
Sing Street is a real school.
Interesting.
Not only is it where they actually shot the movie, it is also where John Carney went to school. He is an alumni.
All right. Look at that.
Modern Sing Street would like you to know that they're nothing like they're depicted in the movie in the 1980s. They do not say if they were actually like that in the 1980s, though.
We're not like that anymore.
Although I feel like if they were going to let John Carney film there and use their name, they probably weren't ever actually like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Who can say, though?
Who can say?
Also, I feel like if I was John Carney and I went to a really shitty school, even if I was using it as a reference point, I'm not trying to want to go back.
Right.
Like if I hated high school, and I'm not a huge fan of high school, I would not want to go back to my high school for filming for my movie.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So it probably was decent.
Okay, good.
We like the ending of this movie. John Carney doesn't.
Oh, okay.
He says he meant for it to kind of read as an almost like fantasy sequence. So you don't know where the truth ends. But he says people aren't reading it that way. And he doesn't like that. And I don't agree with him. Okay.
So like when Cosmo runs off with Peanut after the school dance and they go to Brendan, it's like, oh, that's in his head.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like, not necessarily that it's in his head, but he kind of wanted to be this ambiguous thing of like, look, it's kind of like, this kind of feels like a music video. How much of this is true? How much of this isn't?
Okay.
And I understand. I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't think the movie works if you don't think, because I also think that his concern is that Carney is like, oh, I think people read this as like everything worked out in the end. They're going off to follow their dreams. They're going to make it. I'm like, no, I don't think that's the interpretation. I think, at least for me, I watched that and I wasn't like, oh, they've made it. They're doing it. He's going to be like a great, fantastic musician now. I just feel like he's going to get to London and now is time for the next step.
Right.
So I don't agree. Yeah. Carney has also joked that he partly wishes they died out at sea, like from the boat.
I really thought that was going to happen for a split second.
My mom thought that was going to happen too when she watched this for the first time. But Carney was like, realistically, I couldn't do that because it wouldn't be a movie at that point. Like if I just killed them, then it'd be a joke, but the entire like thematic thread of the film would not work. And I'm like, yeah, so
yeah,
good.
So thank you for not doing that. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah,
Jesus.
Carney knew a kid named Eamon when he went to school, and Eamon had rabbits.
Wow,
this is where he got it from.
All right, makes sense.
He also thought it'd be funny if he just never explained it in the movie, and he's right. He's
right. Don't explain things like that. It's just funnier.
Yeah. I feel like John Carney just doesn't give a fuck. He's just like fucking around, and I respect it. Like he said the shitty Keira Knightley thing, and that was bad. But overall, he seems like a cool dude.
Good.
Maybe a bit rough around the edges, but like a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just chilling.
The movie came out in April 2016 in America. It came out 1 month earlier in Ireland and 1 month later in the United Kingdom. It was the same year, as I mentioned, as La La Land. It has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh-wee, nice.
And Mark Kermode for Observer said, happy, sad indeed. I laughed, I cried, I bought the soundtrack album. The movie made $13.6 million on a $4 million budget, which might make this the lowest budget film we've ever talked about.
Huh. Nice.
Because we've talked about movies technically made for less, but they're old movies. So adjusting for inflation, this might be the lowest budget film we've ever talked about.
Right.
Either this or 12 Angry Men.
No, I don't know. Transformers Dark of the Moon, I think, might be the lowest.
Ah, fuck, you're right. Like, that was just two men and a stick.
It was just a little indie film, you know?
Yeah. So small.
Exactly.
You know, frankly, I'm really impressed by some of the special effects that they were able to pull off for that indie film. Like,
right?
It's amazing what one can do with $5 and a bucket.
Crazy. You love to see it.
Yep. You really do. Shout out to indie filmmakers like Michael Bay.
Exactly.
Really out there keeping the medium alive.
Shout out.
The movie was not nominated for any Oscars, but it was nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy at the Golden Globes. It lost to La La Land.
I see.
Which is wrong. That's a wrong decision.
Yeah.
Fucking La La Land.
Fucking La La Land. God.
I get it. I enjoyed La La Land when I watched. I don't get it. I don't get it. I enjoyed La La Land when I watched it. I understand there was this whole hype around it. At no point ever in my life did I think La La Land was a better movie than Sing Street. Because it's not.
Yeah, no.
It's fine. It's a fine movie.
It's okay. It's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chloe?
Yeah.
It's time for Nailed It with Chloe Naylor.
Whee!
Now, the majority of the characters in this movie are, you know, children.
Children, yes.
So we can't really talk about them
No.
in the typical Nailed It with Chloe Naylor fashion.
Right.
So instead, I want you to tell me what you think is Connor and Rufina's best looks. Because they go through a lot of different fashion styles. We get a lot of different vibes from them. What is their best?
There are so many because all of their outfits slap. Connor's is basically anytime he wore eyeliner, which happened to be a lot later on in the movie. It was great, but also like his outfit that he was wearing when he stood up to the bully. I think like a hat and all that.
It's a good look.
It's a good look, you know?
Yeah.
And then Rufina's iconic look is, I think it's when Connor gives her the tape for Riddle of the Model. And like she's got like a cute...
Oh, and
like,
she's on the stairs?
Yeah, she's on the stairs. She's got a cute like bandana headband. And she's got like a choker with like 3 crosses on it. It's a look. And I'm a fan of it.
It is a look.
Yes.
I basically agree with you. That's my favorite Rufina look.
Nice.
And my favorite Connor look is during A Beautiful Sea, when it's just kind of like the black t-shirt and like the outfit, simple. His hair though. His hair look and like light eyeliner, a good fucking look.
You know, valid. Yes, boys should wear eyeliner way more often.
You heard it here first.
That
folks.
is my dream.
Chloe, this movie is not super well known, which means I only have one piece of trivia for you.
Ooh, okay.
And it's very small. It's a very small one. I thought of it while we were recording this.
Okay.
As I've told you, Rufina's actress, Lucy Boynton, is sorry, I got a phone call as I was asking that.
Sick.
As I told you, Rufina's actress, Lucy Boynton, was 20 when she recorded this. How old do you think Connor's actor was during filming?
Okay, so he was 15 in the movie. I'm going to say... Man, I am such a bad judge with ages. I'm gonna... I'm gonna guess he was like 18.
You see, I've conned you.
Okay.
By saying Rufina's age, I made you think, oh, age up.
Yes.
He was 14.
Oh, God. Okay. Sure. All right.
I definitely thought he was like 16, 17. That was my assumption.
That was like my first thought. And then
no.
you did con me because I'm like, oh, okay, clearly she's older.
Now, I didn't fully research exactly, but based on like my mild research of when they filmed and his age now, he's 20 now. He was, I believe, about 14 in the film, which means he is now the age that Lucy Boynton was then.
Weird.
Wait, no.
No.
Yeah, no. Sorry. For a second, I was like, wait, no, this came out in 2016. I was like, wait, no, they filmed before that, obviously, because that's how filming works.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
14.
Huh.
Maybe 15. Like, it could be on that line. I'm not entirely positive, but I believe it's 14.
Ooh.
Still, you were off.
Yeah, no, I was. Okay. Huh. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure.
I feel like we get this. I've heard this conversation too with like, with High School Musical, the series, because people are like, oh, the one girl in the movie is like, or in the show is like 16, and the guy who plays her boyfriend is like 21. That's weird. And I'm like, dude, they're actors.
Yeah.
This happens all the time.
Acting.
They aren't actually making out with each other.
Bro, people. Yeah. Oh, God.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Chloe, it's time for executive action. What are 1 or 2 things you would change about this movie?
Put more bangers in it, honestly. I was enjoying the music every time it was on.
Just more music.
Put more music in. Make it more of my idea of a musical, you know? Sure.
Okay. I have only one note. It is not a note I actually want changed because I would change nothing about this movie because it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to think of something to comment on. So I'll comment on this. Drive it like you stole it makes no sense. If you steal a car, you would not be gunning it.
Sure you would.
You'd be driving it slowly under the speed limit so the cops don't pull you over and realize you're in a stolen car.
Nah, you floor it. Nobody can ever catch you.
It only makes sense if what they're saying is you stole the car and the cops are after you right now, so you gotta gun it. Which, like, sure, that's a possibility. I respect that. I hadn't even thought of that until like an hour ago. But that's really not a complaint because I wouldn't change Drive It Like You Stole It. I like that name. I like the song. I like the vibe it gives. The movie's perfect. This is the best movie ever made. I will stand by that until the day I die.
Everybody go fight Ben on it.
Comes out that I like more.
Until that, yeah.
But I know what the audience might be thinking. Ben, we know you. We know you haven't seen The Godfather or The Godfather Part 2. We know you haven't seen E.T. We know you haven't seen Seven Samurai.
Wait.
How can you sit here with your lack of knowledge? I haven't seen E.T.
Oh.
How can you sit here with your lack of film knowledge and tell us that this is the best movie of all time? You are an imbecile. You are uneducated. You are a novice to the world of film and film history. And to that I say, I don't fucking give a shit. I don't care. This movie is the best movie ever made. You cannot present another movie to me that is better. I'm watching Seven Samurai within the next 2 weeks for a reason. And let me tell you, there is no way that this Kurosawa-ass samurai bullshit that helped create the Western movie genre that inspired one of the most successful Westerns of all time, that is foundational to many movies. Look, I know Kurosawa's movies basically built Star Wars. I know A New Hope is basically just the Hidden Fortress with, I believe, the hero's journey mixed in with it. Maybe the Hidden Fortress is already the hero's journey. I don't fucking know. I know all these things. I don't care. I do not care.
Good.
Sing Street is the best movie ever made. And that's on God.
Fair. While I might not agree completely with that statement because I'm me, but I will.
Obviously, you have your own.
Obviously. But I will agree with you if we have to fight people that are like, The Godfather's the best movie ever made, or Godfather Part 2, whatever. I'll help you fight them and say Sing Street's the best movie ever made, just purely despite the film bros.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh God. I didn't even think about the film bros. The film bros won't say Godfather, dude. They'll say Pulp Fiction.
Oh, gross. Even worse. They'll say a Tarantino movie.
Here's my new take. Pulp Fiction. It's fine. It's decent. It's not bad. It's okay.
Love when that glass of orange juice
like
reads
it.
the book.
It has some good moments.
Yeah.
It's nothing special. This is my. I'm just gonna piss off everyone.
Good.
In this episode.
Good. They deserve to be pissed off.
That's true.
Yeah.
Chloe, what are your closing thoughts?
Everybody go watch the movie, or if you don't watch the movie, at least go listen to like one of the songs. Go listen to Drive It Like You Stole It, because it's a really good song. It's a banger, dude. Come on.
Also, if we have any rich benefactors on this podcast and they want to pay for me to be flown out to New York City to see the Broadway production of Sing Street when everything eventually reopens, who knows? Maybe that'll be in the next year. You have a lot of time to save money to fly me out. Please do.
Exactly.
Please do. I will go with you if you want to come. I know it's not like a huge draw. I also will just never speak to you again if you want that. If you want to be like, Ben, I will buy you tickets to Sing Street so that I never have to interact with you again. I'll get it. It's fair. Go for it. Please.
Make dreams come true, y'all. So come on.
Chloe, if people like this movie, what do you recommend?
Honestly, after watching this, I wanted to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Interesting.
That he also mentions Back to the Future a bunch of times, which also that
he does,
but
also slaps.
Like the dream sequence and the prom scene, basically the same. Exactly, it's what it's based on. But yeah, no, I just also really like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off is really good.
Such a good movie.
The first third, maybe the first half of that movie, because I rewatched it recently. It's absurd how much, like 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes of that movie is literally just nonstop iconic line.
Yeah.
Just like line after line after line is so referential.
Mm-hmm.
It's absurd.
So good.
It is absurd how good that movie is.
Yes.
I don't know what movie to recommend. Watch Once. Once is another John Carney movie. It's the movie that kind of made him. It's probably the movie he'll be best remembered for when he dies, despite this being his best movie, in my opinion. So check it out. It's a good film. It has similar themes to this in certain ways and very different themes to this in other ways. It is about music. Again, it is set in Ireland. Onward is kind of just this movie if it was worse and about magic. Like there's a lot of similarities tonally between the brother dynamic in that movie and in this movie. It reminds me a lot of this movie. And I don't know. Oh, you know what? You know what movie you should check out? Check out School of Rock.
Oh, there you go.
Also got a lot of music in it. It's definitely very different, but it is about like finding your passion in music. It's about like accidentally stumbling into a career and into your like joy and passion. It's a Richard Linklater movie. We've talked about Richard Linklater before. Watch School of Rock. I think that'd be a good one.
Watch Diary of a Wimpy Kid for the brotherly love, and one of the brothers is in a band.
Roderick Rules.
Yeah. The band is called Loaded Diaper. Come on.
I've never seen any Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, but I read the books.
I did too.
Long time ago.
I've seen the first two movies, I think, but good shit.
Chloe, next week, we're talking about a movie.
We are?
Here's the thing. We have no idea what that movie is.
No clue.
Will we be talking about another favorite movie? Will we be talking about something else? Will we have a guest? Will we not have a guest? We don't know. It's all
crazy.
Chaos. Life is a never-ending stream of the unexpected, and we are just along for that ride. We are following in its jet stream this time. But yeah, we have no idea what we're talking about. If you are listening to this and you want to find out what movie we're going to be talking about, I will make sure that we tweet it. I will also make sure to put it in our Discord. If you want to join the That Nerdy Site Discord, go to thatnerdysite.com. We should have all of our links pinned to the top of that Twitter. Now, the Discord server is not pinned to the top of that Twitter. However, as a reply to that pinned tweet is the Discord link. So go use that. But also I'll be tweeting about it. So follow me or follow Chloe. She'll retweet it.
Yee.
Chloe will retweet it, right, Chloe?
I'll retweet it. Yep, I got you.
We'll figure out what it is, and then you'll know.
Yee.
And then everything will be happy. Or not. Maybe we'll just watch something super depressing and we'll be bawling our eyes out. Life is our oyster.
True.
Chloe.
Ben.
If people have enjoyed this episode, if they want to hear from us in the other things that we do on the social medias that we exist on, where can they find us? Chloe, where can they find you?
Oh boy, you can find me everywhere on every social media platform. That's on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Letterboxd for movie reviews, since this is the movie podcast. I'm everywhere at Echo Clo. So shout out.
It is my great honor to, for the first time in my life, sit here on this podcast and say, you can find me everywhere at Mr. Bento Box. That's right. I have at Mr. Bento Box on Twitter now. It has taken, I don't even know how long.
Yay.
7 years? Probably 8 years. 8 years.
God,
8 years?
dude.
8 years. It's taken like eight
Like
or
a
something
decade,
years.
basically.
I
Okay.
got that handle when I was like, 9 years? I got that handle when I was a junior in high
Jesus,
school.
dude.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can find me at Mr. Bento Box everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Letterboxd. That is me in the ether. If you want to follow my ongoing Twitter thread about what movies I like with what themes, you can. Today, as of recording this, I was tweeting about my favorite director, a movie from my favorite director. Obviously, my favorite director is Rian Johnson. I've mentioned that. And my favorite movie of Rian Johnson is The Last Jedi because I love it. And I tweeted about that. But you probably know that there are more interesting movies that I choose throughout this at certain points. I swear they're not all just movies that I've talked about on this podcast, although a lot of them are, to be fair.
You're not always on brand, but
a lot of them are.
You are, yes.
I'm not always on brand, but
Me too.
when I can be.
Mm-hmm.
Chloe, if people like this podcast, what can they do for us?
Can give us a nice little rating on the iTunes or the Spotify's. Give it a like, listen.
I don't think you can rate on Spotify.
You know, you can't, but you can listen to it. I don't know how podcasts work anywhere because I don't really listen to them outside of like YouTube, which is also posted on YouTube. So you can do that too. And you can give us a little like there too.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can listen on Spotify, on YouTube, or on iTunes. You can rate us and review us on iTunes. Leave a review. It'd be real nice. We have some ratings. Last I checked, no reviews. We have friends who said they would. So if you're listening to this, what the hell? What you doing, boys?
Terrible.
And or girls.
Lied to us.
And or whatever gender you identify as. The hell? We're right here. I thought we were friends.
Clearly not.
Anyway, if you want to support That Nerdy Site, you can support That Nerdy Site by going to thatnerdysite.com, where you can find the other podcasts that the site does. Chloe and I tend not to be on those because we were busy with this one, but they happen. You can check them out.
Yeah.
And you can go to patreon.com/thatnerdysite, where you can throw some money at the website to help keep the lights on, because all the money really just goes to keeping the lights on.
Pretty much.
Podcast services, literally all of it. This has been That Wannabe Film Class. It's been a blast to talk about my favorite movie.
It's always a good time.
About the best movie ever made.
Love it.
I love it so much. Is this how you felt talking about Prisoners?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful time.
It really is. Prisoners, Dark of the Moon.
Like with Little Women, as much as I love Little Women, it is a new love for me.
Okay.
So it definitely didn't feel the way that talking about Sing Street feels.
Fair. Yeah. It hits different for your older favorites.
It hits different, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It really is.
We will be back next week to talk about who the hell knows what.
A movie.
Or we'll die.
Or that.
Yeah, you never know.
Never know.